It's hard to believe that I got this many okra seeds from 10 plants. I guess you can see that. It's okra. I did good. These are fresh 2019 seeds. Wait a minute. I think I have this incorrectly because this is for the growing season 2020. There we are. Felt good getting these seeds because when I went out, into the area where they're growing, I saw and think about this. This is hundreds of plants or seeds, hundreds of them out of 10 plants. I like that. If I put this on the scale, I don't know what it will weigh. 16 ounces. And and I did something that I saw um, a gardener do. That's considered, I consider him to be uh, quite a gardener, food forest permaculture. And we were talking about using sugar in the garden. One evening we were here online, and I got into that. I mean, I've read and uh, saw just about every video they have on YouTube concerning using sugar in the garden. There's not a lot written about it, and one thing I'm learning is that they have so many different formulas that these growers are developing or have developed. And hello, how you doing? I just mentioned you just a second ago, and what I did uh, uh, is I had everything. I read up about uh, natural sugars, granulated sugars. There were even companies that sell huge 40 or 60-pound bags, it looked like, um, of molasses, uh, which, you add water and it becomes a liquid form, and farmers are using it. And so, um, but then you could go somewhere else, and another person would say there's been no documented proof that it works. But I mean, it's not necessarily a good thing to do it. I mean, it was back and forward. So what I did was I went onto my own property. Sugar is say sugar is feed the mold yeast and from. Yeah, that's right. I did see that information there. They talked about basically it just feeds the life in the soil, and they talked about they actually had numbers. They said, well, in 30 minutes they could double their population, for instance. And so if you put it in the ground in just 30 minutes, they're saying they could double the population. But they talked about sugar, whether it be granulated sugar, brown sugar, honey, all of it sugar. And what I did is I went out and I used molasses because I had a container of molasses in the cupboard. And I mixed it with some rainwater because I use rainwater for everything. Sugar works awesome with no till is best. Yeah. Thank you. With no till is best. The thing about it was when I added the sugar, and in the ground are these little seedlings. They are collard green and, and kale. And I jive you not. Here's what I did. I put them in a watering can. I didn't really measure. I just put common sense to work, and I put some in there, and I watered down the seedlings, the ones that are in the containers and ones that are in the ground. I watered them down. Came back the next day. Came back the very next day. I said, let me go over here to see what these plants look like. And folks, they were different. And I could actually look at them. They were different. They had actually stretched out taller. Overnight now, the leaves have gotten wider. And I'm looking at this saying, wait a minute, hold up. This was just yesterday. So then the coloring hasn't really, at that point, didn't really change a great deal. But the leaves were bigger. The leaves were actually bigger. And I watered them in real good. And then I went over to, well, I actually just watered all of them. And when I did that, they had already been rained on. They already been rained on. And then when I added the sugar just went right into the ground and did what it does. And I'm telling you, folks, it was a difference. It was a difference. So food forest permaculture, I want to thank you for that. You did not have to share that, and you did. So I appreciate it. Um, and so I'm definitely going to add that to my arsenal because what we're trying to do here, I kept saying constantly about uh, growing soil, and I was using compost, composted materials, and that's good. But if I can add something that will go directly and bam and hit them like that, and they start actually growing, 20% large food feed micro, and let's say plants and can be broken down into micro. Yes, absolutely. It was crazy. I actually watered them that morning at 10 a.m. Came back the same time the very following day. And they were different. The plants were different, taller, and it was the same reaction with the ones in the containers. That's how it works. Well, I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for that. Now, if I understand you correctly, you're saying generic white sugar will work the same as the molasses I use. But because the molasses definitely work. Any sugar at all. Thank you. Any sugar. Because there was one gentleman on another video was making it complex. He said, "Well, there's chemicals used when we break down the when they process the white sugar. That in our product, this is not recommended that you use." And he kept going over and over. I'm listening to this man. I said, "This person is making this sound more complex than it has to be," and I knew something was wrong. Let's see. Again, white sugar, microbes, right? Now toxins. Toxins. Got you. It breaks down the toxins in the white sugar. So the reason why I mention that because in my situation, if I have to run all over town to find uh, blackstrap molasses, that's one thing. But if I could just go get an inexpensive bag of white sugar, uh, I'm set. I'm set. Another thing I found online while I was looking around is this gentleman made um, a weed killer that was he claims was better or equal to Roundup. And he used vinegar and about a cup of salt. Well, a gallon of vinegar, poured some out so you get the room to add the salt. And he added a cup or cup and a half of salt, and he added, a few teaspoons of what they call it, soap, any kind of soap. And he claimed it helps to stick to the plant. And he demonstrated it by using it, and he could come back the next day, and the plants were dead, just as dead if you used um, Roundup. And it was interesting. I said, wait a minute, because some parts of my yard, up in the front of my property, like in the curbs and things like that, I like to kind of control some of those weeds because they grow so fast. And when I take the weed trimmer down there to get them, it's like, you're stripping up the line because you're between cement and cracks and that sort of thing. So if I could just use something that is inexpensive that will kill the weeds, I'm satisfied. And that's why I like what he was talking about when he said use vinegar. And he didn't say go get a certain kind of vinegar. He just said vinegar and salt and dishwashing soap. I actually said any kind of soap. So I like that. I like that. Black strap molasses or sugar to help. Oh, let's see what we got here. Now, oh, and wait a minute. Let me throw this your way. Food forest permaculture. Let me throw this your way. It was one gentleman, and he said he uses his molasses in the fall because he said allow for the buildup of the microbes in the fall, and then when spring comes, your soil is already supercharged. What is your take on that? Let's see. Never put. Well, absolutely, yeah. It will kill the microbes. Yes, yes. Fall is best. So what they're talking about is setting up your soil in the fall. And I'm thinking, let me get with food farm permaculture and see if he does it this way, or does he wait until you get into the spring, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start my sugar treatments at this time, around the time I'm getting ready to plant, because I do a lot of chop and drop, and I felt like that was enough food being left there for the microbes. Okay, okay, that's interesting. Because I mean, now, um, they said that sugar, and I understand why, that the sugar can sweeten up apples, pears, plums, whatever kind of fruit you have, because you're improving the amount of food that the plant can get. So yes, it would make the definitely make the food taste better. Let's see, chopping drop is chopping drop is what am I say? Chopping drop is on the surface, sugar, water, and soil where microbes live. Okay, I got you. So the sugar can go down deeper. And what I have is a spray bottle that hooks up to my hose. Let me see if I can get this thing to act right. It's something that's getting blurry again, and I don't know why. Okay, let's see what we got here. Morning. Okay, that might be better. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Is it you gonna wash? Let's see. Washroom break. BRB. Washroom break. Now, BRB washroom break. What do we mean there? I'm not familiar. BRB washroom break. Oh, be right back. Oh, God, I did not understand these little short words. Let me hold you tight. Growing apples that are not sweet. I did that this year. I'm so happy, so happy. Everything is good, folks. I'm just here thinking about my next gardening move. It's something I always do. Think about my next gardening move. Keeping costs down and growing a superior crop. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. Appreciate that. Kind of strange. You're talking onto a monitor, and people all over YouTube can see you and hear you. It's interesting. I really think we've come quite a ways. So, good people, I'm going to go down and get me something to eat. I haven't eaten since yesterday. Hi, I am back. Yeah. Now, let me ask you your take on this. What are we talking about today? She wants to know, what are we talking about today? And if you look up through the thing there, we're talking about improving the microbial life in your soil. And we found ways, well, which I just discovered that it actually works because I started talking to a food forest permaculture, and he's been explaining to me that there's something that he uses and he completely has faith in it. And I used to hear about this years ago, but I never, because you hear so many things over the internet. And sugar improves the plant's overall health because of, you're stimulating more life in your soil. I actually tried it in my environment. I went out and I had some blackstrap molasses. It could be any kind of sugar I'm understanding. And I used the sugar in a watering can, stirred it up, um, and watered my seedlings. The very next day I went out, I actually saw a difference. They were stretched out like they're getting taller. The leaves actually got larger. And I said, wait a minute, this has only been a few hours, maybe 18, maybe 20 hours. How is it that sugar can be this great an effect on my plant. And I liked it. So I said, wait a minute, now how can I keep costs down? Because uh, and also be able to find enough blackstrap molasses to do this. And then I was informed by Food Farmers Permaculture, I can use any kind of sugar. I can use the generic brand of 4 pound bags at the grocery store and get about 3 of those and just sprinkle it around in the garden. Or I do what I've been doing because I have what do they call this thing? I have a spray unit that goes on my hose, and I could actually put the sugar in there and actually just spray the areas that I need sprayed, which is around my trees and also in the gardening area where I grow my vegetables. And so that would be a great thing. Spray around the root base of the grapevines. Spray around the root base of the raspberries. And because I found out last year when I actually started taking an interest in my raspberry, I used to let my raspberries just go the way they wanted to go. But this year, they were so sweet, all I did was feed them. They were sweet. Let's see what we got here. So that's the nitrogen, so that the plant can use the nitrogen to feed your microbes. I say microbes do a lot of small, like toxins. This is important for human health. Thank you very much. Food Forest Permaculture, I give you your props. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't give that to everybody. I just don't. Because some people don't know what they're talking about. And me, I learned from 20 years of making mistakes. And every last one of those mistakes were lessons. And I've learned and I've improved my technique. I can grow food if I need to. Not everyone can say that. The grocery store is the only thing they have going. That's it, grocery store. I work with people all day that are worried, panicky actually, about the food cost. They're panicky about what could be in this food. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome anytime. But I had no idea something so cheap. Oh, oh God, thank you, thank you. I'm very informative as well. I love getting on in here and telling people based on fact and what I've done in the garden. I remember uh, tearing open when I about the 5th year when I was gardening, started gardening, and I cut open a manure bag, put some holes in the bottom first with a screwdriver. So that's all the tool I had in my hand. Then I cut the bag open all the way open in the on the other side, and I put in some cantaloupe seeds. The weeds grew up around the area, and I used to water them and everything. And I forgot those seeds were over there, folks. I forgot they were there. Fall started coming in, and some of the weeds died back. And I looked over there, and I saw all these pretty, and it was like about 7 or 8 of them over there. All these pretty cantaloupe. I couldn't believe it. I looked at them. They was all big, like the ones in the market. And I said, "Look at this." But here's the only problem with them. I got all happy, and I was showing it to my neighbors and everything. And I said, "I want to share this." And I cut it open. It had all these seeds in it. It looked beautiful. It was orange flesh. It just looked incredible until you bit into it. And once you bit into it, it didn't have any sugar. It had very, very little sugar. And I said, "What happened? These look great. They're big and everything." I said, "Well, what happened?" And I said, "Okay, you got to think about it. All you gave them was a store-bought bag of manure. Now, what could have been missing from their diet? The reason why they didn't have any sugar, but they didn't have any sugar in them. I mean, they had sugar, but it was very little. They actually taste like just as neutral as a cucumber. Cucumber, yeah. And I was disappointed, but I knew I was on to something because I said, "Wait a minute, there's a lesson in this somewhere. Why is it that they grew so well?" And it had to do with the fact that they were eating pure manure. So I like doing that sometimes, is just give them pure manure, um, because some plants respond well. Most plants respond very well to the digestive tract of an animal. So and now I'm learning here that the microbes living and dying and excreting their materials and everything, they those animals that live in that soil will make your food better than you could ever possibly imagine. I see coffee grounds and coffee grounds, this is refresh. I see lots of benefits on the soil and use on the coffee and the microbe digestion. Thank you. Yep. Now, coffee grounds, you speak a lot about that. I would like to be able to go get tons of that stuff, but I'm gonna tell you something. Um, wow, that's all I gotta say. Coffee grounds is I mean, I don't have any what they call this place that sells a lot of stuff is upscale coffee shop. Let's see what they call. I can't think of the name of it right now, but they give you the grounds, and they're parked up in areas where it's difficult to get to them. Difficult because manures have the huge amount of natural sugars, so the food will taste. Manure has the huge amount of natural sugars, so the food will taste sweet. Yeah, yeah, okay. And I did this with watermelon as well. I bought the sugar babies. I guess some of you are familiar with sugar babies. And what did I do with them? I just dug a hole, loaded it down with um, manure, stuck three seeds in there, and left it. When I came back, there was three actually, but there were two beautiful size. They were about like that, and they were sugar babies. I cut into it, folks, and I got to tell you that this, without any kind of exaggeration whatsoever, the sweetest melon I have ever eaten in my entire life. My entire life. And on that note, folks, I'm going to go down and grab my food because I think it's almost done. I can smell it cooking. Um, do you want me to leave this on, or do you want to, do something else with your day? I can leave it on. Everybody can talk to each other for a while. I think I'll leave it on. All right, good people. I shall return. I shall return. Got to smell that food cooking now. I haven't eaten since yesterday. I'm kind of on this diet thing. It's a long story. All right. Mhm. Just reading through the information that's there. The host is eating his breakfast. Yeah, I had to eat something. I was so hungry. All right. Yep. Happy Sunday. So you are accustomed. Let's see. I thought you were. I thought you were. Excuse me. I'm thinking of most of or all of your food has a sweetness to it because of the gardening practices that you use. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was eating for that. I had a good time. Now, every 2 weeks, I'm going to add some sugar to my garden if I have some crops in there growing. There you go. How breakfast was good. It was good. Thank you for asking. It was good. Um, I'm just reading through all the information that's here. It's quite a bit today. Quite a bit. Have you ever thought about making a video showing how you use the sugar, or you feel there's enough videos out there already that they could get the information? Because, quite frankly, honest, for myself, I haven't seen too many videos. Um, there were companies that had videos saying that this is what farmers are considering using. They talked about that, and they didn't really give you a lot to go on. No kind of. One gentleman had molasses mixed in with a tea that was made from compost, which I know that's a good idea, but the watering practices I thought was quite interesting to just be able to be able to just use what we have, on our own. I got you. One handful over every 4 feet. And some people were saying use it every 2 weeks. Um, Now, when you start putting it down, uh, do you start in the fall, or do you during the growing season? Oh, okay, okay. Make sure that it's on the soil in the fall and early in the spring, and early spring when the plant is producing fruit. Then every 2 weeks. Yeah, I can do that. I like that. I appreciate the information. Thank you. And on that note, good people, I'm gonna go. I've been up for about 12 hours, and getting off work, and I just want to see if I can. I think I can fall asleep now. I think I can because I have been. Oh, and I've been checking out your videos, and let's see, Angela, Miss Angela. I've been checking some of her videos out as well. Green organic. I gotta check out some of yours as well and see what you putting down, so to speak. Well, good people, thank you, and I'm going to go and see if I can get some rest. But thank you for tuning in, and have a great day. Thank you. You made this episode a total success. All right. Food forward permaculture. All right. Keep on growing.